What's up, everybody? I'm Sarreen. Man, it's been so long. I feel like I've been ghost. Honestly, I've just been doing a lot of healing. For those of you who don't know, I have been pregnant and I had my baby boy, my baby Taj. He is here. He was born August 21st at 11:25 a.m. He was 9 pounds 4 ounces, 21 inches long, and he is absolutely way more than we imagined. He is perfect, and he was born here at home just how we wanted.
Look at that. He like, come on, daddy, where my shades at? You want me to get you some little baby shades? Yeah, you so excited. Oh, no.
So why we chose the at-home birth route is in a completely different video. If you haven't seen that, go ahead and check that out. Right now, I'm here to share with you my at-home birth experience, how I wound up with a super quick labor, and just a little bit of my postpartum experience as well. So I wanted to get this video out to you sooner, believe me. However, I was focusing on recovering. I was originally doing a traditional 40-day recovery, which is common in a lot of cultures and a lot of countries. Basically what that is a couple of months of no work, no labor, simply focusing on getting better and focusing on your child and just bettering yourself for your new life. So my recovery definitely took a little bit longer than expected, longer than that, but it was definitely well needed. So that's why I've been so MIA, but here I am now, and so I'll just go ahead and get started. This is how everything went. I first want to start off by saying I had an amazing birth team. My midwife, the doula, and my boyfriend. That was basically my birthing team, and I don't really know what I would have done without them. I originally didn't have a doula, but my midwife had an assistant basically come with her who actually was a doula. So it actually worked out beautifully. So for those of you who are pregnant and considering having a midwife or a doula, I highly recommend you just looking into it, having both of them, and they make a great team together. I'm super grateful, but I'll go ahead and get started. Starting with my pregnancy, let's take it back to when I was pregnant. So my pregnancy was pretty smooth except for that last month. My 9th month, it was kind of rough, I'm not even gonna lie. For those of you who don't know, I shared this already, I was having super painful pelvic pains in my last month. I wasn't sure why it was just so painful until I talked to my midwife about it, and she basically was saying that it had something to do with possibly the baby was doing something down there low in my pelvis with his arms. His arms must have been like high up by his head, which made it like tougher for my pelvis. So that's basically what I was dealing with before I went into labor. Like basically when I started my 9th month, it was just horrible. So I was doing everything that my midwife recommended, taking certain oils, putting it down there to kind of ease the pain, using a belly band. The day before it was time, the pelvic pain was the absolute worst, like worse than it ever felt before. I remember telling my boyfriend Tevin, like, oh my gosh, my pelvis, it hurts even more than it ever has hurt like this entire time. So I remember taking a shower and just the oil that my midwife recommended, I think it's called arnica oil. And I took a shower and literally rubbed it all over me because I just didn't know what was wrong with me. I didn't know what was going on. I just know that it hurted way more than usual. Basically on the day of August 21st, it was on a Friday, 5 a.m. is when it all started. I basically went to the bathroom and noticed a little bit of blood, and I kind of automatically was like, this is my mucus plug, like this is it, this is happening. So I remember immediately telling Tevin, like, okay, a little bit of blood came out, like I think this might be the day. And he was just so sleepy. He was just like, okay. I kind of had some false alarms before, so he probably was just like, okay, maybe not. But that was the time when I was like, I really think it's time, because I was already 40 weeks pregnant, so I was just kind of like, it's gonna happen soon, this is probably the day. So I kind of went back to sleep and woke back up like 15 minutes later because of the pain. I started getting the period-like feelings. So it kind of just felt like I was on my period. So it didn't feel like anything too harsh, but I kind of felt like, okay, this is labor. This is the very beginning of labor. So I remember I immediately texted my midwife and told her, hey, a little bit of blood came out. I think this is it. This is the day. This is happening. She was saying, okay, yeah, it sounds like you're in labor and you're probably gonna deliver sometime tonight. So I was just like, okay, I'm gonna, you know, do what I need to do. Go through the works of having contractions, just kind of relax, breathe, sleep through it. I've been hypnobirthing also before I was in labor, like during my 9th month of pregnancy. I got into hypnobirthing. Shout out to my fellow pregnant friends that I met on Instagram who told me to get into hypnobirthing. I had a couple doctors tell me to do it and I kind of just brushed it off and not thought about it really. So when I had a friend on Instagram tell me to really look into it, that's when I took it seriously. So basically what hypnobirthing is when you just kind of it's a bunch of affirmations telling you you're going to have the best labor, the best delivery, you're going to be calm, soothe. You kind of just recite these things to yourself over and over and over. So I kind of had a guided meditation on my phone, had my headphones, pacing back and forth, repeating, reciting these affirmations over and over and over again. I think I started really late. I remember I started really late. I started at week 37. It was really late, but I was since I started so late, I'm gonna do this every day, every hour, all the time. So I really wanted a smooth labor. So while I was in labor, I was doing the pacing back and forth and listening to the affirmations. When I wasn't doing that, I was in bed sleeping because I was still super tired. I already could barely sleep in my 3rd trimester. So I actually remember sleeping through each contraction. And honestly, I didn't even know if it was a contraction. I just felt like it was periods of just having bad pelvic pain, bad period-like feelings. I wasn't even sure if it was contractions. I was doing my best to time them with Tevin. So basically it was a time where it literally went from not 0 to 100, but 20 to 100. It literally went from, okay, pelvic pain to, oh my gosh, this hurts. I'm pushing. My body is forcing me to push and there's nothing I can do about it. So that's when I was like, is it time to push? My body is pushing on its own and there's nothing I can do. So I got super scared and I remember telling Tevin my body is pushing on its own and I can't even stop it if I wanted to. And every time that happened, I would scream so loud for about 10-20 seconds, maybe 30 seconds, and then it would just stop. So when it stopped, I almost fell asleep. I was so tired. And that's when we called the midwife back, and I remember Tevin was telling her I don't think she's gonna have this baby tonight. I think she's gonna have it now. You need to come here now. He called her and had her on speaker and she heard me screaming like crazy in the background. And I think that's what kind of put a light bulb in her head, damn, I think she's about to really have this baby. So I remember hearing her on speaker panicking okay, I'm packing a suitcase right now and I'm on my way. I remember Tevin just trying to stay as calm as possible, but I still heard him saying oh my God, when is she going to get here? I just remember, I know he was super freaked out, panicking. And here I am laying on the bed. I'm laying in the bed in a fetal position, sweating so hard, screaming at the top of my lungs. At this point, the sun already came out. I want to say it's 9 a.m. Maybe, no, 10 a.m. And I'm sitting here sweating. I don't even want to move. I'm in this one fetal position and I don't want to do nothing else. I don't want to do anything else. I don't want to move. I just want to stay there and scream until somebody comes saves me. I had Tevin bring me loads of coconut water, because it naturally has the electrolytes in there. So I'm just guzzling down coconut water with a straw. Tevin's feeding that to me. He has a little face towel wiping off the sweat on my forehead, ooh, every 2 seconds, because I'm drenched in sweat. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, okay, this literally went from like me feeling period pains to the total extreme. So if this is it, that was kind of fast and cool. But at the same time, this midwife, she needs to get here because I don't know what to do. Like, and I remember her telling me like, no, don't push. Wait till I get there. And I'm like, no, I'm not pushing. My body is pushing on its own. Like, he's coming. So basically the midwife finally got here, and honestly, I'm more calm than anyone else. She came here freaking out. Like, and she basically, I guess, is used to having like an assistant with her who's a doula, and this all happened so last minute that she's calling her doula. The doula basically like, come, like, where are you? You need to get here and help me. She's yelling at my boyfriend, like saying, I need more lights, I need this, I need gloves, I need apparently, because I have a whole birthing kit that I ordered, that she had me order, and apparently it was supposed to come with gloves and it didn't. So I don't know exactly what happened with that, but thank God she had some of her own sterile gloves. That's the only part that I kind of just didn't like about my midwife. She was absolutely an amazing midwife, but I did not like how she had like this panicking vibe at the beginning. So the first thing she did was check my cervix, and I remember the very first thing she said was, oh, that's his head. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And no, she also said I was covered in mucus plug, like all over my thighs. It was just mucus plug everywhere. And honestly, I don't know when my water broke. If it did, like, I don't know anything about that. Don't know. Like I said, this all happened very fast. And I remember she called her assistant slash doula, and I remember her saying, you need to get here, she's complete. And so I was like, that means like, that's what that pushing was, like he's coming like right now. So immediately she barely was in my house for 5 minutes. And mind you, we were supposed to have a pool birth, a water birth. And when she came in, and I remember my boyfriend asking her like, should I fill up the pool right now or what? And she was just like, what? There's no time for that. Like, she's having this baby right here on the bed. So I was just like, oh my gosh. All of me trying to cover up with the birthing, with the whole pool skirt, and me trying to be all cute, that stuff was out the door. Like, I was butt naked. And I remember the midwife telling me, okay, it's time to deliver this baby. Get on your hands and knees right now. I initially was on my side, like I said, in the fetal position. And I told the doula, I do not want to move. I want to deliver the baby like just how I am. Like, I literally can't move. I don't want to move. And she was like, that's fine. Just open your legs and push. Push just like you're pooping. So I was on my side, had one leg up, trying to push. And she was like, okay, no, that's not going to work. Get on your hands and knees right now, right now. So I got on my hands and knees, literally in tabletop position, but completely out. And she was like, push like you're pooping right now, like as hard as you possibly can. So I did my pushing. Every time I had a contraction, I would push extremely hard, like literally with all my might pushing. And in between every push, she had a warm rag, which mind you, helped so much. It kind of like helped with the elasticity down there, and it kind of just eased everything, made everything like feel a little bit better. And then between each push, she would kind of put like a heart monitor thing in there to check the heartbeat to make sure he's doing good, like in between each push. So I pushed like 2 or 3 times on my hands and knees. And I remember the last time she checked the heartbeat, she was like, okay, the baby's not happy. We got to get you on a birthing stool. I'll be right back. And I remember her saying that by the time she went to go get that birthing stool, I was telling my boyfriend, like, I'm getting this baby out. I don't want to move again. Like, he's not happy. What? So that's when I pushed like with all of my might. I pushed so hard that by the time she came back with that birthing stool, the baby's head was already out. And I remember the midwife saying like, oh, his head's right here. And while I did that last big push, I knew I tore down there. That's how hard I pushed. I was like, oh yeah, I tore, I feel it. That one time where she didn't have that warm rag like touching me is when I ripped, and I felt it and I knew I ripped. So when she came back and saw the head just out, she just was like, I need you to do one last push to get the rest of his body out. So I did one last big push, and literally it just felt like really jiggly and squishy, like the rest of his body just like came out. The hardest part really is the head. So when he came out, I always said, like, I don't want to pick up my baby when he first comes out. Like, I'm scared. Like, I just want someone else to pick him up and put him on me. Like, I don't want to pick him up. And basically I was on my hands and knees and looked down, saw my son with the biggest eyes just looking at me. He cried for like 3 seconds, like 5 seconds, and then kind of just looked up and was like, kind of like, what's up? Like, it's you my mama? Like, when I saw that, I kind of just looked down and picked him up, somehow got on my back and just put him on my chest. I just couldn't believe that was how I first saw him, just looking dead at me. So yeah, immediately the midwife was wiping him down. He was on my chest. Tevin's looking at me dead in my eyes, telling me like, I'm so proud of you. Tears down his eyes. And I just remember just looking at how beautiful my son was. I was just like, oh my gosh, he's so beautiful. So yeah, the first thing we did was we got that skin to skin happening right away. He was on my chest. I want to say that's right when my mom walked in. My mom was super late. She was at work, so we called her kind of late, which was kind of good, honestly, because I think she may have been a distraction if she was there, like in the beginning. Like, I needed it to just be me and Tevin when I was going through that pain in the beginning. So yeah, me and Taj were doing skin to skin. From that point, nothing was really rushed. At that point, we were kind of just talking over how everything happened so fast. I was only in labor for 6 hours. My pain, or my mucus plug came out at 5 a.m. and Taj came out of me at 11:25 a.m. So it was fairly on the shorter side. He's waking up now, so we didn't rush cutting the umbilical cord or even taking out my placenta yet. The placenta was still in me. I want to say like 10 minutes later. No, yeah, like 10 minutes later, she was like, okay, I need you to do one big push so we can get the placenta out. Then I immediately began to breastfeed. That was my very first time experiencing breastfeeding, and it was very painful. I just remember him finding the latch and latching on, and I immediately was just like, ah, this hurts so bad. And the doula kind of guided me through like how to really like get a better latch and how to really like get through the struggles of breastfeeding. So that really helped. We still kept the umbilical cord on Taj while him and Tevin did skin to skin. They had him take off his shirt while they had their skin to skin, and then eventually the midwife had Tevin cut his umbilical cord. I was asked what I wanted to do with the placenta. I didn't know what I wanted to do with it, so I just decided to save it and freeze it. It's still in my freezer right now. I don't think I'm probably going to do anything with it. I just didn't want to throw it away. I didn't want to get capsules out of it or anything like that. So I just was like, let me just keep it and put it in my freezer and figure it out there. And so like I said, I did tear. So I remember the midwife saying, oh, let me check to see what happened down there, see if you tore. And I remember her looking down there and telling the doula like, yeah, she tore right there, there, and there. Like, I tore in 3 different places. Honestly, it was horrible. And her sewing me up was almost as bad as the delivery. I hated the part where she sewed me up. I was numbed for that part, so that part wasn't natural. She kind of shot something in there that numbed me up, but it still was painful. It still hurt. I did not like that part at all. After I got all sewed up, I remember the doula and the midwife we all went to the bathroom. They kind of guided me with how to go to the bathroom for the next couple of weeks until I heal down there. I kind of have to rinse with this bottle while I pee just to make sure nothing gets infected. And just take it easy when you're doing like number 2, because it's like everything is super fragile down there. So I basically had to take it easy for a while. And I just remember poor Tevin, like, he was just running so many errands for me because I just could not move. I couldn't do a lot of things. So finishing the story, just shout out for the mothers who can just get up and snap back right after they give birth, because I definitely was not one of those people at all. My recovery, it took as long as it did as it needed to. So it's just so beautiful that my baby boy was born here. It was super relaxing. We definitely set the mood with candles, the tone with low lighting, until the midwife kind of needed the light to see what was going on. It's just so yeah, it just feels so good knowing that my son was born here at home. I wasn't pressured to take any drugs. If I was there, I probably would have, you know, been vulnerable, wanted to take drugs, but I was here and it kind of just had to happen. That's what's so strong and so incredible about a woman. I looked in the mirror, I was a completely different body. But I mean, it's all good. It was completely worth it. So yeah, I definitely needed that time to recover, to deal with the struggles of breastfeeding, to deal with getting back on track with doing things outside of being a mom. Like, I'm just now doing that. Even doing yoga, like my body is just, it's just something different. It's crazy. So giving birth at home, like I did it in my own bed. Like, I can't believe I did it at home with no drugs, no pressure or anything like that. Literally just like I had to do it on my bed. Like, I can't believe I did it on my bed versus in a pool, like how we all expected it to be. Like, I sat there and looked at a pool in my living room for about a week, probably more than that, thinking that that's how I was gonna give birth. The father's definitely more involved, which is what I love. But I wanted to share why I think my labor was so quick. So I think it was super quick. Number one was definitely because of the hypnobirthing. I really honestly do think that helped. Before me going into labor, I literally was reciting affirmations like, my labor will be easy, my pelvis will set myself up for success, my baby will slide through my pelvis smoothly, easily, I will have an easy labor, I love my baby and can't wait for him to arrive.
I feel safe, secure and confident while birthing my baby. I bring myself into deeper relaxation as my labor progresses. I trust my body to know what to do. My mind is relaxed. My body is relaxed.
And also another reason why I believe that my labor was so easy, because I do think that I was dilated way sooner than I believed. That might have had a lot to do with why my pelvis was in so much pain. And of course, I also think that I went through a quick labor because of all of the yoga and exercising that I was doing. I was doing a lot of stretching, a lot of opening of the hips, that I think that my pelvis was just like, wow, just like ready, because my midwife kept saying, your pelvis is amazing. You pushed out a 9-pound baby so quickly. I feel more confident and good about my postpartum. At the very beginning of my postpartum, I didn't feel so good. I felt like almost like I was drowning, like it was gonna take forever for me to recover. Like, it was hard for me to, I did not look forward to going to the bathroom, to doing number 2. Like, that's how much pain I was in. You know, but now I'm doing way better. I feel, you know, back to normal. Learning that there's definitely such thing as a 4th trimester. Like, it's definitely not over after you give birth. Like, I know a lot of women say they miss being pregnant. I personally, so far, don't miss it. I mean, I had a pretty smooth pregnancy except for that last month. So just know that if you're out there just nervous, just know that it's definitely doable. You can do it. Like, I definitely did it. Like, I definitely know I could do it, and I did it. As hard as it sounds, as crazy as it sounds, like popping a whole nother human out of you. Mamas, you are strong and you can definitely do it and get through it. Oh yeah, and I also took a nice, beautiful tea bath. In my birthing kit, it was like this huge tea bag for you to take like a big herbal bath after you give birth to kind of help with the healing down there. It smells really good. It's just a lot of different herbs that just kind of heals you and makes you feel good. You can even have your baby take a bath with you, and it's just super soothing and a cool thing to do after giving birth. So yeah, that's all I have. Feel free to ask me any questions, talk to me, let me know your experiences. I'm definitely open and excited to talk more about this. I have so many more videos and things I want to share with you. My pregnancy transformation, my postpartum body, postpartum stories, breastfeeding, the pumps that I'm using, the experiences that I'm having with my newborn. Just, it's so many more things that I want to cover. Postpartum yoga, getting back into that. Miss you guys. I miss talking to you guys. And yeah, I'm ready to get back into the swing of things. I will see you guys later. Bye.